This is Elias Dufexes. You're watching That Tom Clancy Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode of That Tom Clancy Show. I am, of course, your lovable robot host, Mr. That Tom Clancy. I don't know why I'm Mr., and I'm sorry that I am, just all over the place today. I swear I wasn't drinking. Well, that's a bad joke because we know I wasn't drinking. So, hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. So glad to have you here, just like every other day of the week, except today is not like every other day of the week, because today is Monday. And as everybody knows, this guy likes Mondays. It's true. It's kind of nice. They're the start of the week. I feel like things are kind of, it's a new opportunity. It's like a morning, except 7 days instead of just one. So, yeah. Well, thank you all for joining us, of course. But you're not here to listen to me ramble and try and fill empty space. You're here because I have a guest. And my guest today is one of the developers behind a little game called Lumen, a trailer of which I'm going to play for you right Bits and Pixels. Please join me in welcoming our guest today, Craig Robinson. There we go. Craig,
Hi.
welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Tom.
Oh, absolutely, man. No problem. Well, the first question I ask everybody when they come on the show is a simple one, but a telling one. What are you playing right now?
Playing right now, Hades. Just started Hades the other day. Super Giants game.
Yeah.
Bought that with a friend. We were both playing it with each other. We were like, each other's only source of information. Didn't look up anything about it. Then what did I get the other day? Spelunky 2. Got to start that one soon. So I'm big into roguelikes right now, I suppose.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, what else have I been playing lately? That's really it. I play a lot of League of Legends on the side too. That's a little guilty pleasure. Don't like to admit that one too much, but
I mean, look, we are not fans of the word guilty pleasure here on this show, because if you like it, and you shouldn't feel bad about that. And anybody who tries to make you feel bad about it, they're the asshole.
hey, fair enough.
But we also don't like League of Legends on this show. But I'm not going to think any worse of you for it. I might.
Yeah, that's all I ask.
Yeah, everybody's been down on the Hades train. I haven't quite got there yet, but I did meet Greg Kasavin once at PAX East, what feels like a lifetime ago now, and got a chance to talk with him about Bastion for a solid 20 minutes. And he's an excellent human being.
Nice, yeah. Bastion's really great too. I played that one. I played Transistor. The only one I haven't played of theirs is Pyre, but
Yeah.
maybe something.
I've only played Bastion about half of Transistor. Transistor is an excellent game, but there was just a point, I don't know exactly where I was, where I don't think I was good enough to complete the game, and we parted ways.
Yeah, no, I didn't finish that one either. I mean to go back to it, but things keep coming out, so.
I know it's getting so hard to keep up with things. Yeah, like for me right now, the current hotness is Star Wars Squadrons.
Right.
But that's just because you can play it in VR, and There were some bugs on launch day, which thankfully they have been pretty good about patching stuff out real fast. So that's been real nice.
That's sweet. Yeah, I haven't played many VR games. I've tried a couple. I played like some Batman one like years ago,
Oh
but
yeah, the PSVR one.
yeah, that was it.
I haven't touched console based VR yet. There's like a couple things I would like to see, or like personally, like the Iron Man experience. I think could be really interesting.
Oh yeah.
But that gets into a bunch of complicated VR feelings that I have, and they're all, like good. Terminally nerdy. Thank you so much for being here. Always so good to see you. Got my eye on you, man. Terminally nerdy. That's some good people. Got a chance to get to know him a bit over the last couple of weeks, and he's a cool dude. He wrote this really great tweet, and I'm just going to call him out for it because it's something that I've been trying to live by recently, which is, when somebody posts something on Twitter and you really like it, right? Like this excellent piece of art or just something. And, it's really easy to just be like, boop, I really like that piece. But, us as the people who enjoy it, to kind of like help bring the enjoyment to others and also kind of just get the artist out there, we should also then hit that retweet button too. And so it's like, yeah, I was just, every time I see like this really cool piece of art and there's the like button, bam, retweets getting hit right with it too. So doing my part, help sharing cool stuff.
Yeah, it's good. Help those artists out every little bit.
Yeah, I mean, dude, times are crazy right now. Everybody needs every little helping hand they can get. So,
yeah, appreciate that one.
I'm lucky to have two hands. Whee!
There you go. VR ones too. Mine are only,
yeah, your meat
hands.
the meat space hands. It's fine. It's fine. These ones kind of suck. I mean, like, I'm not even touching this coffee cup really. So, but at least I can get it. Terminally nerdy. Share art, gamers, bloggers, videos, all of it. If it's cool, share it. Exactly. Those are some excellent words to live by in the early 21st century. Well, we're here today primarily to talk about Lumen. So for everyone out there in the audience who has not had the opportunity to play the demo, like this guy, why don't you tell people a bit about the game?
All right. Well, Lumen Lost Passages. It's a Metroidvania, featuring Lumen, who happens to be the Soul Warden. So he's one of Hades' little minions. Where speaking of that, we were playing Hades. We were mildly Greek inspired. Not as much as they are. We just kind of draw from it. But he's one of Hades' little minions, and his daily job is taking your soul from where it lands in the underworld down to where it gets judged for where you're going to go lay for all eternity. So one of these days, souls stop flowing through. Lumen, part of his day job, is very concerned, goes to investigate, gets ambushed. Monsters are, they know this. They knew he was coming to show up, took over it, took all of his powers, stopped all the souls from flowing through, and that's where the game begins. At this point, you're, kind of trying to figure out what's going on. How do I get back home? How do I get back to the underworld? Yeah. How do I figure out how these souls, how do I light all these passages again?
Nice.
That's the game.
Yeah. Before we go too far into this, terminally nerdy, I gotta work with the Nightbot settings. Like, I just got it implemented last show.
Oh yeah, I remember doing that. I remember setting all these up.
Dude, I have no idea what I'm doing with a lot of this. It's like you ask me to solve the problems directly involved in like this stuff. Oh yeah, man, I'm all over it. You asked me to implement a bot that basically governs itself. No clue. No idea. But yeah, no, I had the opportunity to play the demo that you sent me this morning, actually.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, there's a few like rough around the edges things, but I mean, you're still in development, so it's like I'm not gonna judge you like.
Oh yeah, it's our feedback demo. Be rough with it. Be rough with it.
You need a map.
Yeah. Oh, agreed. That's to come. No worries. That's just it's not made it in yet.
But otherwise, man, I enjoyed it. I mean, it felt. I mean, you nailed the feel of a Metroidvania, absolutely. And I don't know if there was a second boss to it, but I found the one that's in the trailer, and
nope, the other one.
All right, cool. Because I kind of just like went a direction. Uh, I wasn't backtracking. I was just like, I don't have a map, so I'm just gonna kind of just go crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
no worries. I'm big on maps. I mean, that's the same thing for me. I won't play Metroidvanias if they don't have maps. I cheated on Hollow Knight because I didn't want to walk through blind, so I cheated with a map because I didn't, want to
Wait,
go look.
Hollow Knight doesn't have a map?
It's got a map, but you have to like until you find the map maker, you like can't necessarily fill in areas where you've been. If you know what I mean? Or
That's
like something
yeah,
like
yeah,
you fill in as you walk, basically, right? So
yeah. That's
so
but
it
then
does and it
yeah,
doesn't, but yeah.
it's an iffy map, and you got to unlock the map zones. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. Some
it's
people
a
were really into it, and I get that, but
it's funny too because this just reminds me of like every time I play D&D, I always make sure that my character has a big ass notebook, uh, pencils and quill and ink, and they're fastidious note takers. Like they keep daily journals, they draw their own like maps and stuff like that. And it's kind of like my excuse to sit down and just take notes the whole time while the session's going on, so I have a better memory of what happens from moment to moment.
yeah. So if anybody needs to backtrack in your game, you're the guy to go to.
Yeah. I mean, we usually are pretty good about it too, like depending on the group that I'm playing with, and like because that's not something that I came up with. As much as I would like to say, like I invented journaling for D&D characters, no, it was something else I saw another player doing, and I just kind of incorporated it into my style.
I wouldn't have known either way. I had another friend mention to me that they started playing D&D today, and I've never tried it, but yeah.
I highly recommend. Uh, I mean, obviously. Uh, it's a solid game. I'm a big fan. I started playing in the early 2000s, and I mean, I haven't played in a long time, especially right now. It's
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of hard and irresponsible to get a group together in physical space, but things like
Mhm.
Roll20 and whatnot exist, so there's all sorts of ways around it. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I enjoyed it. The first boss felt very appropriate for the first boss. It beat me the first time, but then like I just kind of got a better feel for it, and I just like rolled the thing in the second try.
Perfect. Yeah, that was the goal. Two or three tries we wanted to aim for on that one, so that's perfect then.
Yeah, like I probably could have got it on the first try, but I just got real careless. You
Yeah,
know?
that's how it goes for me too. You just run in and start hitting things, and you don't stop until one of you is dead. So
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I've been playing games for almost 40 years. I got this. And then I didn't have it. So,
yeah,
joke was on me.
yeah, that's probably the first real difficulty spike because most of those beginning enemies are pretty straightforward. So
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the interesting things because we have this very institutional memory of this genre. I mean, quite literally going back to the earliest days of home gaming.
mhm.
And, it's kind of had this definite resurgence over the last decade or two with games like Ori and the Blind Forest. We mentioned Hollow Knight earlier. Axiom Verge is another great example. Uh,
I had a great time for
but
these.
uh, I hate Axiom Verge though. It's
Oh wow,
so
really? I
hard.
like this one a lot.
Like no, it's excellent. Like it is an amazing game. I just hate it because I'm bad at it.
Ah, fair, fair.
Yeah, there are very few games that I will legitimately say are bad. Uh, if I don't, I try to pick, try to couch it all in like emotional language. Uh,
Mhm.
like hate, love, dislike, stuff like that, because I don't want to like ascribe a like when you throw good and bad at a lot of things, it kind of gives this
Objective,
idea
right?
of like a quantitative value. And
Mhm.
I know like a lot of people really enjoy some games like League of Legends. I hate it. Am I saying League of Legends is bad? No. I'm just saying that I hate it. So,
Yeah, very subjective, right? So
yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, we could sit here and we could talk about this all day, but the track I was trying to get onto is whatchamacallit? Sorry. In this space of the Metroidvania that has been so, it's so well traveled.
Mhm.
How do you find your own identity in that kind of space?
I think I've just been, I've played so many of these games over the years. I've just kind of, filled in the gaps with what I want to see. I think at this point. So with Lumen, I think what we're aiming for is kind of like a more balanced system where you can choose your weapon, you can choose your spells, and it doesn't really matter which ones you're choosing, but if you can make it work for yourself, you can make it work. So all the different spells also kind of have same ties to our movement abilities. They're like a little one in the same. We sort of have like two separate categories of upgrades. You have like your story upgrades on one hand, the things you need to progress through the game, your double jump, your dash, right? The basic ones. And then you have these spells that you can find, and all these spells have sort of different other little movement quirks that aren't really kind of planned for in the story. So, little like intentional sequence breaking as well. But yeah, it's mainly just to use these spells, just making sure every one of these spells, you'll have 3 that you can equip at a time, making sure they're just fun and interesting, and that you can kind of mix and match them, see what you can come up with, and have fun with them.
I did have fun with your like little portal spell. That was neat.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
I imagine that it's funny. Terminally Nerdy just says, "How about speedrun stuff? Any speedrun specific stuff?" And dude, you were like right there with me on that, because I'm
Yeah.
sitting there and I was playing with that portal and I was just like, "This is going to be a speedrunner's dream."
Oh, I'm so scared of how it's gonna break the game. That's like all we can think about is like you see like when people play on like the with the GDQ and stuff, and the game's just like getting like torn to pieces, and you just like can't help but think like, wow, like what if somebody's doing that to like my game someday? Just like absolutely ripping it to shreds. Like, but no, I love speedrunning.
I
Like,
tell you exactly how you handle that. You embrace it.
yeah, you let them. You just let
Yeah,
it.
exactly. I mean, it's just because people speed run these games, and they do it because they like that challenge of finding the less traveled paths, those weird like bugs and stuff. I mean, they're not trying to break your game. Like,
No, yeah, that's not
they're
bad.
trying to. It's just fun.
Yeah. No, that's just from my programmer's perspective. I just program these things, and it's like, oh god. I'm
Just
sure
remember
our
that
main
there
software
will
engineer.
always be emergent properties of the code.
Yeah, yeah,
It's unfortunately that simple. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, it's just like definitely land to those speedrunners. You see somebody start running that game, get that word out on them, because hey, might bring more people to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I do love speedrunning. Yeah, I watch the GDQs every year. Like I said, I love that stuff. So
That's the thing I hate about 2020 the most, is we didn't get a true we didn't get a true SGDQ.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Probably might be a bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I just, because it's so fun. Like, you see these games that you forget they existed. You never knew they existed. You actively blocked their existence from your memory, and all of a sudden they become fun again.
Mhm.
Watching these people do these things. Like, Celeste is a game I'm never going to play, because I can tell you right now, I can't beat that game. But it's so fun watching those guys play it. Or was it Tazbot, the robot that breaks everything because it can
Yeah, yeah, the Mario one.
yeah. And you see that thing taking on levels on strategies that no person could possibly do, because nobody can hit the inputs that precisely. And it's
Yeah,
just,
yeah, it's insane.
it is, and it just, I especially like how they've been doing the marathon runs to end things lately. Was it Puexel who did the Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy VII, and the Chrono Trigger runs to
Hmm.
end the last few, like, because those are some of my favorite games of all time, and seeing those just get destroyed is just so great.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. I haven't seen a Chrono Trigger one. I don't think I've seen some of the Final Fantasy ones. I haven't seen a Chrono Trigger one though.
it is on their YouTube channel. I will message it to you tonight.
Yeah, perfect.
You can't like sit down and watch the whole thing. It's like I watch them in like little half-hour segments and stuff,
Yeah,
or
especially the
like
launch, right?
or listen to it like a podcast almost, you know,
Good
because
idea.
so much of it is them talking about like manipulating step count or why they pick the party members they pick. So it's just all such a neat thing. Terminally nerdy. I love watching speed runs. Can't do them, not my style, but I love them. Also, I love Metroidvania. Is going to check out Lumen now. Boom.
Perfect.
Um,
That's what I
yeah,
like to hear.
I mean, I can tell you guys are pretty early, but for a vertical slice, you guys hit like a pretty good level of quality. And I'm guessing like you guys are what, first time developers here kind of thing going on?
Yeah, I've been trying to figure that out because Lumen is the first game we've started, but we kind of started another a little side one on the side, just a little mobile game. So if that game comes out first, Lumen's still our first game, but it's not our first release game anymore.
Yeah,
So how do I call that?
that is a very good question that I
Yeah.
don't have an answer to.
I think
Um,
let's go with that. So, it's our first game, wasn't our first released game, but yeah, Lumen, that was how we started learning. Basically, was we figured we're gonna spend all the time learning anyways. Might as sink it into a project we love and care about, right? And then we went off and made side things with that. With the I guess the opposite approach where you do all the little things and learn and fail from those, and then you do the big thing. But we're a little weird here, I guess.
just remember, a big thing is just a bunch of little things all put together.
Yeah, exactly. Little bits here and there, right?
Well, you're saying we here, and how many people do you have on your team?
That's true. It's just me here right now. I'm just so used to referring to it as we, but it's officially five of us. Kind of ragtag group. It's really just a group of my friends and I. Honestly, I kind of one by one asked each of them if they wanted to make a game, and none of them said no. And that was about 3 years ago now. So
Nice.
yeah, we got two of our artists. Are actually tattoo artists and work together. Then our software engineer is a guy I went to school with, so he's
I'm sorry,
genius at coding. That's where I learn all my stuff from is from him. So
did I hear tattoo artist?
yeah, yeah, or both of them. Well, the one's an apprentice. The other guy he's been tattooing for officially at this studio for I think over a year now. But
Where does he
yeah, if you
tattoo? Just
ever
out of curiosity.
St. Catharines.
Okay.
Like that, it's artistic impression. So if you guys ever want some, if you guys ever come through the Niagara region for any reason, you want some, you want to get some sick tats
Look,
from my boy
man,
Penny.
I have 2 Canadian tattoos. I will have you know.
There you go.
One is from Toronto, and the other
Right.
is from Montreal.
There you go. We're right near Toronto. Where everybody kind of refers to this whole area as Toronto. So
Yeah, I kind of like people who live in and around Chicago. It's like they live in Evanston or Schaumburg or all these places, but it's all Chicago.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not. Uh, I lived there for like 6.5 years, like actually in the city. So it's just, I have opinions.
Cool. I've been to Chicago. Went to a robotics tournament in Chicago.
Nice. Yeah, I love that city, man. It's I wish that it had a bit more like kind of like tech stuff to it, but it's like cultural hub of the Midwest, if not like the entire central US. So terminally nerdy here in chat says the trailer has some darn good art, and which I completely agree with. It felt like I kind of got this distinct Hollow Knight kind of vibe from it visually, because you have that such stark contrast between the
hmm
foreground and the rest of the navigable area.
hmm Yeah, it's a nice looking style. I mean, it's so easy. You can make those foreground spikes in like half a second, and they just fill in the area so well.
Well, I mean, it's easy to make them. It's difficult to actually implement it, because I mean,
yeah,
getting that
yeah,
proper, the proper parallax is just, ugh,
yeah. Actually,
it's
yeah,
not fun.
we worked on that one a lot. I mean, that was pretty much the whole cave. That's our fourth version of the cave, I think, at this point. So it's been through a lot.
I can definitely understand that. Now, this is kind of just a silly question. I think I already know the answer to this one. But which game engine are you using?
Unity, everything done in Unity. We're trying to keep everything made ourselves. So far we've got nothing third party. We're doing every little sense of it ourselves, all the scripting. So which is difficult, and it's like not, I suppose, the typical approach, but we were doing this to learn. So
Yeah. I looked at it and I was like, this is a Unity game.
yeah, yeah.
It's nothing like bad or anything. It's just like when you sit and you see a bunch of different games, you can just look at it and go like, oh, that was made in Unreal, that was made in Godot, that was made in Unity. You just kind of
look.
you get that eye for it.
Mm-hmm.
And especially too, like side scrollers, like Unreal is perfectly good for side scrollers, but you're pretty much mostly going to be in something like Unity or Game Maker, or, it's just
Mm-hmm.
they're better set up for that. Like you don't need as much like pre-production just on the engine side to get that stuff working.
Yeah, it's definitely a little more 2D friendly. That was the big thing, obviously, when we were looking into it, was for the 2D, right? So
Yeah. I mean, hey, you're doing good. Hey, my thumbs up works. Nice.
perfect.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
There was a few weeks ago, I like broke the project and I had to like rebuild it. And in the rebuilding, I lost all of my hand animations and I just got them back last week. So I'm just like kid in a candy store again, you know. Um, so you mentioned that you yourself play a lot of Metroidvanias, which I imagine we all kind of have, especially some of us older gamers, because that was basically all there was that wasn't Mario for a while. So, like, how does that in turn kind of inform your decisions? I mean, we talked earlier that you're setting yourself apart by putting the things in that you always wanted that weren't there. But how does how has the success of those other games kind of like informed what to put in your game, I guess?
Right. Geez, let's go through some of them. I mean, my favorite game, Symphony of the Night. That's hands down. I'll always put that one my number one. So from that, the main things I guess we want to take away are, Alucard is cool, and when you play him, and you swing your sword, and you're this, sick half vampire, and you're jumping around, slaying things, feeling badass. That's a big feeling that we want, right? You want to be able to feel powerful in these games, obviously. So take that from that one. What other games? Mamadora, I feel, is a big influence to me, actually. And the reason I like Mamadora so much, the fourth one, Reverie Under the Moonlight.
I can't say I've ever heard of that series.
Really? I actually really like Mamadora. That's in terms of like, it's very, I wouldn't say it's like, does anything incredible or does anything, super special, but it does all the basics and it just does everything just incredibly well. There's just really nothing it does wrong to me, so I kind of ranked that one in my top games just for the simplicity. It just took a kind of the simple concept and ran with it and did something great with it, right? So
nice.
You take those, and then you've got this, you gotta be really fun to play as your character and feel badass, and you've got to have a simple overall game that's still easy enough to get into. A lot more recent titles start going a little farther out into the spectrum. Like Hollow Knight, you've got like the spells and your weapons and your different sword arts and everything, right? So there's little influence there and the different, moves and trying to make things unique to the player, basically. You can tell all my influences are more on the Castlevania side. I play a lot of the Metroid side, but the Castlevania ones are the ones that stick to me.
I mean, nobody's perfect.
My programmer would agree with you. He's Super Metroid till the end.
I actually had never really played Super Metroid until earlier this year. It's just I never got it as a kid.
Right.
Like I was a Super Mario World and Final Fantasy kid growing up, so I just
Super Metroid was too hard for me. That game's hard when you're young.
Oh, dude, I'm not saying I ever beat it. I'm just saying I spent a lot of time playing it.
Yeah.
Terminally nerdy. Baldur's Gate 3 hits tomorrow. Are either of us interested? I'm not gonna say no, but I have so many other games to play right now. And
I've never played any of the Baldur's Gate. I'm
if you want to talk about something kind of hard,
yeah.
you can't beat the old turn-based role-playing games from the 90s into the early 2000s.
Yeah. I kind of skipped those ones. I was stuck in side scrollers for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, terminally nerdy. I mean, I still have like Star Wars that's going on right now. I have at least one more game demo I have to play for just the shows this week. And then, like this is the month where like everybody's all like, hey, do you actually want to play the game? Instead of just like, here's a trailer. So I'm just like, dang, now I gotta write out my questions. I gotta set up everything for the show. I gotta make sure the audio levels are good and all this stuff. And I have to play the game. Come on. So much work to do. Uh, it's terrible. It's just the worst. Like, can I? No, I can't even move my. Hold on a second here. Let's see if I can hack this. All right, can I move the duck now? Yes, I can. No, I can't hit the duck. The duck is excellent. I'll hit the coffee cup. Come on, come on. It's terrible. Yeah, there we go.
Need some papers to spew everywhere.
Yeah, I have to refix my gripping system too. Yeah, that's a mood. Gold box pools of radiance is horrifying. Dude, like I've gone back and I've tried to play a bunch of a lot of the older games, and I was having a very similar conversation that I'm about to start right now about cinema with a friend of mine today, which is that like a lot of the older games, like don't get me wrong, a lot of them are excellent, and a handful of them even stand up to the test of time. But by modern standards, they're just not as good. And it's sad to say that because for so many of us, these games were our childhood, our teenage years, and it's just like you look back and you're just like they felt so cool. Like I don't like the Final Fantasy VII remake, but the thing about it I really appreciate is that it finally looks like how I saw it all in my head when I played it the first time. Because like and it's not a bad game. I just I'm just not a huge fan. Also, I'm not a huge fan of Final Fantasy VII. That's one of those like game opinions that people get really mad about.
I stopped playing Final Fantasy after it stopped being a 2D game. I'm so stuck in the 2D era. I don't know what it is. So like at the first 3 of them, or first 4 or 5.
First 6.
Is the same. I haven't played the 6th one. Then I think I stopped at the 5th one.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VI, I would say, is the best of the Nintendo to Super Nintendo era. And if you liked those, I highly recommend Final Fantasy IX. I know it's 3D, but it hits that like feel of the 2Ds very well because it's not like, because when they made that transition from like 6 to 7, because 6 kind of had that like kind of like steampunk magiciness to it, 7 went like full like modernish kind of thing. And then 9 took a step back into the more fantasy.
Yeah, right.
So, and that's the thing I absolutely love about it. So, but yeah, man. Any other like major inspirations or anything for the game? We kind of got off track there. I'm gonna blame my coffee cup, which is now on the floor, leaking. Can we get a PA out here, clean this up like after the show?
Virtual fluids.
Yeah, hey man, look, fluid simulations are expensive. and
Yeah,
they should not be wasted.
yeah.
You know, I am the
Other
reason.
games I got. I mean, honestly, I've been gaming since I was like old enough to remember it. Very first game was Sonic the Hedgehog, and my mom had to help me beat it because I couldn't beat the boss.
But
So
which Sonic the Hedgehog?
for the Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one, the
Okay.
self. So I had a Sega Genesis growing up. So I mean, a lot of pretty much any of the old 2D Sega games kind of hit it there for me with inspirations. Um, Honestly, anytime I play a game, though, it kind of gets added to my little mental list of like things to draw from that I like. As I'm playing, Hades, I see things that I like, and I kind of add that to my list. And what was I playing before that? Dead Cells, same thing, another roguelike. So many good roguelikes out lately, but
Yeah.
yeah, same thing. I play that, and I add little things. So
Well, it's this really interesting kind of thing where it's even a game we don't like can still teach us a lot about the process
yeah,
of making a
yeah, for sure.
game or what makes a game like good. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's like so many silly game ideas I have are building on things that work from another game and then trying to throw that into something where it makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, gives you a lot of cool. I mean, it's kind of cool to like make an idea like that where you're restricted but not really, right? So you get to have it's like you get more freedom by like almost restricting the rules, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, like there's one game in my head I want to make. It's Kaiju Farmers Market.
oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to leave
Looks
you
like,
with that title. Uh
all right. You're not
uh
worried I'm not gonna steal that one. There's no.
no, because here's the thing, like a lot of people get so secretive with game ideas, and to a minor extent I can understand it. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, like if I even handed you like a GDD or game design document, for just in case anybody out there doesn't know, um, laying out my like entire plan for any game idea I have, you would still make a different version of that game than I did, and it would
Yeah.
potentially be entirely different.
Yeah. It's all
Because
implementation, right?
yeah,
Doesn't matter what
because
the idea is.
exactly, because you and I could, like, if I was making Lumen like in parallel with you, because the way I like to design games is different than the way you like to design games.
Mhm.
You have, like our jump mechanics would be different because I like a different jump than you like.
Yeah.
The combat system would be different because you know everything would be different despite the fact we start with the same framework.
Yeah,
So
that's the great part about it, right? So many devs making so many cool things, right? And that's why there's always, no matter what the game, no matter what the genre, if it's done 100 times before, you can still find something cool and new, right? So
yeah, I mean, because if you look at shooters, right, theoretically every game is basically just Doom.
yeah,
That's a
Doom.
shooter. But everybody does something slightly different. With Halo,
Yeah,
they brought in the idea of only two weapons. Rainbow Six, Call of Duty brought in the idea that health is a very precious commodity, and you can't just walk over like a little box with a cross on it to be better. And then Serious Sam, which went like, what was great about Doom? The crazy enemies. You know what it didn't have enough of? Crazy enemies. And it just swarms you with all this stuff, and it's just so interesting to see how all of these things can be effectively the same thing but so inherently different.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. It's great. I mean, that's why there's no reason to ever never stop making stuff, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, everybody, just remember 10 things I hate about you is just Taming of the Shrew.
yeah,
So
it's all been done before. Originality's dead. Nah.
well, yeah, I mean, that's a whole other big can of worms I don't feel like opening right now.
Yeah, no. Save the philosophical stuff for another day.
Yeah, Serious Sam in VR is just insane. Chroma, I haven't even thought about checking that out yet. But Chroma, real quick, because we were talking earlier, because like Among Us is huge right now, and
Yeah.
I finally got a chance to play it this weekend. Yo, dude, that game is legit. I'm talking with a friend about trying to set up a community game night again, like for reals this time, and I want to put like Among Us in the rotation for that. Because I love hidden role games. Like I really enjoy the I like the idea of human interaction being a mechanic.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I'm all about games like that. And also, there's something really fun about being in a spaceship where you can only see what's such a limited area around you, and with the light cones and stuff, and being scared when somebody turns around a corner and likely isn't going to kill you, but you think they're going to kill you.
Little flash art horror game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just fun. People in the audience, I have unfortunately exhausted my supply of questions. So if any of you have any questions that you'd like to ask Craig here about Lumen, or I don't know, Canada, feel free to throw those in chat. We'll probably just talk here and say silly things for a little bit while I look at my invisible to the camera's watch, because people are tweeting me right now. And I'm just thinking, why are they tweeting me? They should be here in the show. They could talk to me in real time. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm a Canada expert, so.
nice. Oh, snap. My friend Brian is in chat. Brian is also a Canada expert. He lives also in and around the Toronto area.
Yeah, which is,
So
basically all of Canada, really, so.
I am aware that Toronto only makes up 63% of Canada. The other remaining 37% is split up between British Columbia and Montreal.
Yeah, you get a little bit of a little bit of ocean on the other side, I think, too. But yeah, sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Center of the universe, baby. Actually, when I got my Toronto tattoo, Brian was kind enough to meet up with me and take me out to lunch.
There you go. You gotta come back for another Canadian tattoo. You come get one from one of our Lumen boys. They
You
do
know,
great art, evidently.
I'll send you the link to the Chrono Trigger run. You send me some links to their portfolios, and we'll call it a deal.
Perfect. I'll send you the Instagrams.
Nice. Dude, all I follow on Instagram are tattoo artists and game developers.
Nice. Yeah, they got some good pages. Actually, it's funny. You're talking about influence. I didn't even think about this. Our other artist, he actually doesn't play video games. His
That's fine.
last game he's ever played was Donkey Kong Country, and they had an NES Mini in their little shop, and he was playing that again after so many years. But so his influences are all like 80s and 90s horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got like a little got some diversity there. It's nice not having like all of us are heavy gamers, right? It's nice to get like the outside perspective once in a while.
Yeah. No, absolutely. My wife is not a gamer at all. Like she played some Tomb Raider in the 90s, but otherwise, like, I couldn't get her to sit down and play a game right now to save my life.
Yeah.
But it's always nice to have that outside influence, because I'll run an idea for her past her, like when I'm working on the show or something like that, and she'll be like, "Oh, well, what if you did this?" And you're like, "Hey, that's actually a great idea that I would not have thought about in a million years."
Yeah, you get other perspectives, right? It's no way that could ever be not useful. So
Yeah. What are some games that you two are hyped for that are coming up? Oh God, that's hard. I don't even like. I've been so nose to the grindstone with this for the last like 5 months that I haven't really been paying attention to what's coming out.
oh, I guess I don't know when they're coming out. What's the one? The Shovel Knight creators, Yacht Club, Cyber Shadow or something like that. It's like a ninja pixel game that looks pretty cool.
Neat.
Not sure if there's a date on that one yet. I just remember seeing stuff I don't pay attention to when games come out anyways. I see the day it comes out that it's out, and then I go and buy it, I guess, right? So
Yeah. Oh, there is one game I'm really looking forward to that's coming out, and I've reached out to them like 2 or 3 times on Twitter to try and get them on the show, but nobody's gotten back to me, and I'm kind of salty about that. But it's a game called Devigo, and it's an asymmetrical VR and traditional gaming competition where the VR player is like this angry giant, and they're trying to kill the other players, and the other players have to like kill them with like rockets and cannons and stuff.
Oh yeah, I think I've
Yeah.
seen that one.
Yeah,
I
they
think I've seen
also
that one.
pitched for Pitch Your Game last week.
Yeah,
And
cool.
like I've tweeted them like twice. I'll probably hit them up like a couple more times before I just stop. Because like I don't want to be that guy, you know.
Yeah,
But man, I just like I love the idea of asymmetrical VR stuff.
yeah, that seems like a perfect thing for it, right? I mean,
Yeah, because like I was playing this one game with some friends a couple weeks ago. The just the demo. It's called Operation Armstrong, and the idea of it is that you have the VR player who is an astronaut that's trying to like get out of the space station. So it's kind of like a stealth game. But then you have people who are playing online, like kind of like Jackbox style, who are helping them navigate through the space station. So
interesting.
like
Yeah, there's
yeah,
a
so
lot of
they
cool stuff
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, so it's really neat and really fun. And then what's another one that God, I can't remember the name of it, but there's another one that's like similar to Devigo, except that the human players are trying to hide in a crowd, and the giant's trying to figure out who is who, and then like if they reach down, grab the human, and like throw him in whatever, and just like kind of like it's really interesting, you know, like it's an exciting time to be a game player and a game maker.
Yeah, VR seems yeah, intense. Some of the stuff I see come out for it. It hasn't been my thing yet. I haven't really got too into it, but I mean, maybe I haven't played the right stuff, or I don't have anything to play with it, so spent the money in
Uh,
the but
hey, what is it? Like 9 days until the Oculus Quest 2 comes out at $300.
oh
So
damn, it's not too bad.
yeah, I mean the Quest 2 is coming out. It's starting at 300 with the 64 gig onboard memory, which is like limited but not like terrible. And then of course it's going to have Oculus Link capability. Like allegedly this thing is going to be a complete replacement for not just the previous Quest but also the Rift. So like yeah, I mean it's a totally cool looking headset. And hey, Oculus, if you're watching, what's up? Give me a
I guess
call.
some of that Facebook money.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and I mean,
About?
God, yeah. What else is there? Like, there's just so many. Like, it's just there are so many games coming out at any given time. It's really hard to just keep track of all the ones. And then it's just there's so many cool games that have been out or that have been being shown off with Pitch Your Game
Hmm.
this year. Like, dude, I just like finalized another 2 or 3 interviews just this morning.
Oh, nice.
Like I'm gonna be doing 5 shows. Like over the entire course of October, I'm averaging more than 5 shows a week because I have one 6 show week in there, which is this week.
Nice. I'll make sure to check them out.
Yeah, man. 8 p.m. Eastern all the time.
Yeah, perfect.
Um,
It's my Devon time, anyways.
oh, nice. Put us on in the background.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
we'll help you come up with like a really cool idea when we're talking like, what do I'm trying to remember what kind of crazy styles of games we have on this week. Oh, we've got like a really interesting take on 2D platformers. We have a VR like walking simulator. God, I hate that term so much.
Walking simulator.
Yeah, it's just I feel that it is dismissive to the game, but like
Yeah, I feel you. I
yeah,
feel you.
but like visual novels already taken. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, well, Craig, you have been an excellent guest.
Thank you. You've been an excellent host. I've had a great time.
Well, thank you. But before I can let you go, there's one last thing and it's a little bit that I like to call the 5 questions.
All right.
Now, Craig, if you're unfamiliar, and for any first timers out there in the audience, the 5 questions are a series of, 5 questions that I prepared before the show that have nothing to do with anything we've talked about thus far. There are no right or wrong answers. Just know that I will either secretly or not so secretly be judging you by all of them. And so I guess that's it. Are you ready to go?
That's a lot of pressure. I suppose I have to be.
All right. Question number 1. Would you rather have super healing or super senses?
Super healing.
Solid answer.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one. I feel like that'd be pretty useful. You know, you basically, you're like functionally like immortal, are you not? Like,
I mean, it depends because healing is separate from like the cell or the genetic damage which we currently yeah, or so far as we know. Because, but then again, we don't fully understand the scientific and biological nature of aging that well. So, science getting there. All right.
I'm gonna stick with my answer anyways.
Yeah, I mean, dude, this is the best answer. I mean, like super senses was just kind of like a throwaway. It's like, hey, are you gonna pick the right thing or are you gonna pick the dumb thing? Because, dude, nobody thinks like with super senses, like, dude, how terrible would it be to be like on the bus or the subway, or even just walk outside in a major urban center?
You'd get bombarded. Yeah.
I mean, it already smells bad enough out there. All right. So, question number 2. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No, it's not. It's a hot dog. Sandwiches are sandwiches. Wrong? Oh.
Nobody agrees with me on this one. But yes, a hot dog is absolutely a sandwich. Question number 3. Coffee or tea?
Tea. Not much of a coffee drinker.
I mean, that's fair. Nobody's perfect. As evidenced by your answers.
I'm not doing so hot, man. I thought I was gonna do well with that first one, but now I'm
man. Question number 4. Who is your favorite superhero?
Ooh, man. How angry do people get if I'm like not that into Marvel and that stuff? I don't pay that much attention to superheroes. Jeez, I gotta go back for that one. Superheroes. Hold on, let me even think of some superheroes.
Well,
See, at one point I might have said like Flash, but that's kind of a cop out just because I can't think of any cool ones.
I mean, the Flash is pretty cool.
Yeah. There's some cooler like X-Men though that I feel like if that counts as like superheroes, that's one's probably debatable, right?
Do they put on tights and fight crime? They're a superhero.
Yeah. Oh, I'll stick with Flash. I like Flash. That seems like a cool power. You could do a lot with just going pretty fast. That's the imagination runs wild.
That's very true. All right. Final question. Question number 5. If you had to pick a profession other than game developer, what would you be?
Perfect world, I'd probably be a scientist, some sort of physicist or something along those kind of lines.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what I went to school for, after all, but I didn't feel like doing my master's, so.
I can't say that I blame you on that one.
Yeah, it wasn't for me.
Well, Craig, you have been an excellent guest. It has been wonderful having you here. Aside from @Buttery Games on Twitter, where else should people be going if they want updates on Lumen or you and the team as a whole?
We are at Buttery Games on pretty much everything, actually. Instagram's a good place if you just want to, scroll through some of the content we've got out already. Twitter's great if you want to keep up with us. But if you really want to come hang out with us, come to our Discord. You can find our invite link on our Twitter. Not really sure the best way to get those links out. But yeah, if you want to just come hang out with us, our Discord's got tons of great people in it. So
Well,
come hang out there.
chances
Come say
are,
hello.
and I might go full Blizzard here with this one, but chances are, if people are watching in chat or watching the show, then they have a computer or a phone or some other device capable of getting to @Buttery Games on Twitter. What? You guys don't have phones? Sorry. It's so easy to pick apart or to just eviscerate modern day Blizzard.
Oh yeah, it's not a fair one.
It really isn't. Well, Craig, I will talk to you in just a minute here, but I'm about to switch over to a different camera angle so I can say, hey, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Chroma, just got to say, yes, they are new. These are just the Steam VR hands that I slapped a plain white texture onto. They are placeholder until I can get some real hands. If I'm gonna get that Diablo jab in there like every day. It's just the way it is. Well, everybody, sadly, it is time to end the show, but that's okay because, as I kind of alluded to earlier with Craig, I have 5 more this week. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Sunday night, because yes, I run a Monday through Sunday week, because otherwise it wouldn't be a weekend, it would be a week bookend, and that sucks. So, awesome show, Tom, as always. Speak soon. Uh-oh, that sounds ominous. But it's probably going to be okay. Famous last words. But, Bits, Pixels, it's so wonderful to have you here, but as I said, I kind of have to go. But before I do, please remember, wear that mask, drink some water, have some vitamins, and be kind to each other, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. But thank you all for joining us today. I'll see you on the next episode of That Tom Clancy Show, but until then, have a wonderful night. Bye.